Now, Chinese support for Russia over the war in Ukraine, renewed tensions over Taiwan, and a row over Chinese government subsidies giving Chinese companies an unfair advantage over European competitors. Lots to talk about then as the Chinese President Xi Jinping arrives here in Paris today. He arrived, in fact, last night, and today that state visit is getting underway. Well, we're going to talk about some of the issues. And joining me now is Isabelle Feng, who's a fellow researcher at Asia Centre and a member of the China Horizons Project. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.
On the programme today. I mean, it seems pretty clear, doesn't it, what China is after from these talks. Perhaps top of that list is currently European leaders threatening to impose more tariffs on Chinese goods. In fact, just last Thursday, the European Commission's trade chief hinted that tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles could be introduced as soon as next month. I mean, China's obviously desperate to avoid that, isn't it?
Yes, and the tariff on electric vehicle imported from China is a very good test for Europe. And now let's see if Europe can be united and to send the same message, because last year, the European Commission launched an investigation into the Chinese electric vehicle, and on January, when Europe decided to impose tariff and for retaliation, and the Beijing government decided to launch anti-dumping on brandy, the French national brandy, and let's make me remind of what happened in 2013. In 2013, when France and Italy they called for Europe for collective action on photovoltaic. And
solar panels.
Yes, the solar panels, and the German was against, and it's the same. The same thing happened. The same thing happened, and now for Europeans' investigation on Chinese electric vehicle, the German enterprise are against, because most important German automaker, they have a huge investment in China. And for the European investment in Chinese market, 40 are coming from Germany. So the German government is on the side of the German companies. And so this European tariff is to the great joy to French companies, but they didn't get the support from German.
What is it that the countries are annoyed about with China? Because there's all sorts of accusations that the Chinese government has been giving preferential treatment for state enterprises, data restrictions, inadequate enforcement in intellectual property rights, cyber thefts. All those kind of things are all lumped in, and the Chinese authorities accused of that, which obviously is at a detriment to European companies.
Firstly, we must know that the Chinese economy is not a market economy; it's a state-run economy. And for its electric vehicle industry, and the Chinese companies, no matter it was state-run or private one, like BYD or like Xiaopeng, they were all, since 2010, since more than 10 years, received heavy government subsidy. And now the Chinese EV industry has a huge problem of surcapacity. And now they are very eager to find a market in Europe, because the market in the United States is closed for them. And so for the President Xi's visit in Europe, one of his objects to obtain a big openness for the Chinese EV.
And it's not just electric vehicles, is it? We talked about solar panels, there's also wind turbines, medical equipment. And as you said, France also hoping on the other side that they will have more of a market in China, notably for their cosmetics. You also mentioned the brandy issue as well.
Yes. This is the division for the 27 of the United States, of the European Union. But we should say the economic links with China is not same. It's not same for China and for Germany. And France is only ranked at the 18th place for the exportation to China, and 22nd place for importation. It's not the same product either. For France, it's aeronautique, like Airbus, or Produit de Luxe, like the Hervé Elmach.
Yeah,
And for German companies is automobile. And the German companies are so heavily invested into Chinese market, and they benefit at the same time. They benefit the Chinese government subsidies as well. So they don't want to see that the Chinese-made electric vehicle be punished in European market.
Let's talk about some of the other issues as well, notably Ukraine. I mean, it's been several years now, really, hasn't it, that Emmanuel Macron and others have tried to put pressure on China to in turn put pressure on Russia to end the war in Ukraine. After 2 years of failure, though, I mean, do you think they're going to bring it up again, and how much can they push it? Because it doesn't seem to have made much difference so far, does it?
Yes, so up to now, 2 years after the sanctions imposed on Russia, and we all know that without China's support, the Russian economy would not have started up now as it is. But we must see another truth is that the European leaders or European countries' leaders, when the German Chancellor or French President, when they went to Beijing, or when the European Commissions like Monsieur Charles Michel or Madame de Berlin, each one, when they arrived in Beijing, they asked President Xi Jinping to put pressure on his friend Putin. But up to now, it not works. And last April, in 2023, when the President Macron went to Beijing and to meet Xi, and he asked the President Xi Jinping to bring Putin à la raison, bring to the reason. But what he obtained is just a phone call from Xi Jinping to Zelensky, and nothing happened then. And the question is, does European have leverage with China?
The answer seems to be no.
Yeah, indeed, it has, because Europe is the second largest trade partner of China, and this leverage can work only if Europe is united and send the same message. Because we can see what happened when Anthony Blinken went to Beijing last month. And he tried to elect to give warning to Beijing, to ask Beijing to stop the Chinese companies which continue to support the Russian's military industry. And at the end of his visit, he declared, I tell clearly that if China does not address the issue, we will do. And 3 days later, and Washington announced new measures, new sanctions, and they put about 100 companies onto the blacklist, among which there are 20 Chinese companies based in China and based in Hong Kong. So Europe has the leverage, but it's very hard for us to see if Europe can make it happen.
Just got time to ask you very quickly about Taiwan as well. April 2023, Macron and Ursula von der Leyen met with Xi Jinping in Beijing. At the time, Macron caused a bit of a storm, didn't he? He told reporters Europe should not become America's followers on the Taiwan issue. I mean, China wants to hear more of that to counter those strong words by Joe Biden that the US would step in militarily in the event of any action.
Yes. The President Macron's speech at that time indeed stirred the outcry of the Taiwan's friends. And also the fact that he said we don't want to be the USA's follower. This is a very old French tradition. As said, we, the Gaullists, we are not with the United States, and we try to exist in the middle. But in the problem of Taiwan, the problem of Taiwan is in 1994, and France becomes the only country in the world who signed on the paper that he will not sell arms to Taiwan. And now the dilemma for President Macron is now he received President Xi in Paris. And both of them declare we want the peace for the world, for the region. And if China is real, his intention is for the global peace, and the China should not to reiterate that we will take back Taiwan. And France is the only country inside the Union who has the interest in Indo-Pacific. So France cannot give up his interest in Taiwan, and that is why France continues to send a ship to the region, and at the same time he continued last year. After his word, we are not the follower of Taiwan, and we are not the follower of the Washington, and Taiwan is the inter-business of China. And then the president sent a message to Taiwan to reassure his will to be with them. Yes.
Good to talk to you on the programme today. Thanks very much for coming in, Isabelle
Thank
Feng,
you.
Senior Researcher at Asia Centre and a member of the China Horizon
Thank you.
Project. Thanks very much.